Ryu, the main protagonist of Street Fighter and likely the most popular fighting game character in the world. Longtime fans have witnessed his journey from the beginning to defeating Sagat in Street Fighter 1 and eventually Bison in Street Fighter 5. Now finally in Street Fighter 6, Ryu is clearly at his most powerful, which is why today I'm ranking him against every character in Street Fighter. Well, at least the playable ones. If I include the weird movie villains and stuff, we'll be here all day. But you get the idea. Today we find out who beats him, who could beat him maybe, and which characters make him sweaty. Not like that. Leave a like down below for Ryu, and then comment which Street Fighter character is your favorite. For me, it's probably Jury, though I'm not entirely sure why. Yeah, I just can't put my finger on it. Oh, feel free to comment which character you want next for this series, because so far we have Bison, Akuma, and now Ryu. Finally, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, because I'm trying to reach 500,000 subscribers before Ingrid releases, so let's do it together. And alright everyone, without any further ado, let's begin. Alright, here we go, ranking every Street Fighter character against Ryu. I'm gonna begin with 4 or 5 characters for each row, starting from top to bottom. So first up is beats Ryu. These characters either win outright or force the fight to a standstill. In other words, there's no winner because Ryu can't defeat them. So of course, an obvious first example is Akuma. This guy's been fighting Ryu for over a decade now, and to this day, Ryu's never beaten the Dark Hado Master. Unless we count the manga or comics, which I'll be honest, I haven't read many of them, so today I'm sticking with the games because honestly the games often retcon those comics and manga anyway, so yeah, the games matter the most. And while some fans might argue that Street Fighter 6 Ryu could beat Akuma, we haven't seen it yet. Which means next up I gotta mention Oni, because that's a more overpowered version of Akuma, so most likely he beats Ryu as well. Then we have Oro, who once fought Akuma to a standstill, and fans will say, well, Akuma has never gone all out in any of his fights. And to that I say, fair enough, but also, Oro's never used both arms in a fight. In other words, I personally think Oro has a chance of beating Akuma, which means he beats Ryu too, most likely. However, oh boy, next up is a part that always upsets people, Ingrid, okay? I know some Street Fighter fans hate this character, but the reality is she's very, very overpowered. This woman confronted Bison and casually beat him twice without trying too hard. So yeah, Ingrid is very, very powerful. Now compared to other characters like Oni, Akuma, and Oro, I've got no idea because she's only ever fought Bison, but she made it look really, really easy. Next up we have Gil. This man can summon meteors and blizzards casually. He can resurrect his body, so it's pretty much impossible to beat him. Yeah, honestly, Gil might be one of the most overpowered characters in Street Fighter. However, he does lose fights on purpose to gauge how tough the opponents are and then resurrects himself. So similar to Akuma and Oro, we've never seen Gil go all out. We don't know how truly powerful he actually is, but I'm betting he could beat Ryu if he goes 100%. Alright everyone, real quick, GamerSupps is having a big sale, 20% off any purchase with my code UNDERDOG, or use my link down below in the pinned comment. Because once again, everything is 20% off, no matter what you choose to purchase. That's a really big sale, and every purchase you make supports my channel directly. So that's awesome. GamerSupps has energy drinks, they've got merchandise, mouse pads, all that incredible stuff. Check them out today. Keep in mind that this sale only lasts for 1 week, so you want to order today. Okay, and that's 5 characters. So next up is the could win tier. Very self-explanatory. These characters have a chance of beating Ryu, it's just not confirmed. So for example, Ken Masters. I think if this guy keeps training and fully commits himself, he could beat Ryu, because these two characters go back and forth all the time. In one game Ryu wins, and the next game Ken wins, and you get the idea. Then next up is Bison. Oh, but Ryu beat him in Street Fighter 5. Yes, while that is true, many fans forget that Bison had been severely weakened by Charlie Nash before that fight even happened. So to be clear, in this video, I'm saying full on Bison, powered up by different devices and psycho energy, all that stuff. He's going all out against Ryu. I think he's got a chance for sure. Then we have evil Ryu, and keep in mind, I mean, what if Ryu gave in completely to the Dark Hado and became as strong as physically possible with that evil energy? In that scenario, I think he has a chance of beating Street Fighter 6 Ryu, who is the canon version. Now some fans might argue that Ryu's power of nothingness is a hard counter to the the Dark Hado, but to that I say Goken still never beat Akuma after he got more powerful. Then finally, to end this row, we have Cody and Guy. Both of these characters are very powerful in their own right, and in my past videos, some fans complained that I put Cody up high, but forget to glaze Guy, who's also very powerful. That's fair, that's fair. Next up is the good challenge tier. These characters would give Ryu a good fight, but realistically, I don't think they're ever gonna win. For example, Urien. Maybe back in Street Fighter 2, this guy could have beaten Ryu, but fast forward to Street Fighter 6, I don't think Urien's got a chance anymore. Ryu's just gotten way too powerful in the two recent games. However, he would give Ryu a good challenge, make no mistake. It would still be a great fight, I just don't think Urien's gonna win. Another great example of this is G from Street Fighter 5. He doesn't fight many characters, but come on, we can tell he's very, very powerful. The man's got fire and alchemy abilities while also being extremely tall and clearly very strong physically as well. Next up though, let's talk about Ed. This guy got way more hype in Street Fighter 6. He was trained to box by Balrog, who canonically is probably the best boxer in Street Fighter, maybe Dudley, but it's hard to say. Anyways, Balrog's up there and he's trained Ed how to fight for years. Then on top of that, Ed also has psycho energy, just like in Bison, because he's a clone of Bison. So when you put all this stuff together, I think Ed could give Ryu a run for his money. But finally, we have another lady character, Juri. So she gets downplayed a lot in Street Fighter 6 for some reason, losing to a brainwashed M. Bison, which I don't think should have happened, because back in Street Fighter 4, she was dog walking everybody, from Guile to Chun-Li and Cammy. Very easily, she was beating these people, stopping rocket missiles with her feet. Yeah, Juri's about that life. She's very powerful. So I think that version of Juri would give Ryu a good challenge. Along with C. Viper, I'll never forget how much she dog walked Cammy in the Street Fighter movie, which is canon by the way. I know earlier I said no manga and comics, but that's because they're often retconned, whereas this movie in particular is canonically tied in with the Street Fighter 4 game, so we can use it as reference in today's video. Put simply, C. Viper is very powerful in her own right. In Street Fighter 6, she took down a simulated M. Bison, which theoretically is as strong as the real deal. Viper has gadgets and does tons of research on people she intends to fight, so she would research Ryu a ton before confronting him and then give the guy a good challenge. I think so. But alright, next up is Ryu will sweat tier. Not like that. These characters will give Ryu a decent warm-up, but they're not really a challenge. So Abigail, for example, Hugo, I think Aki goes here too. The poison would be an issue for Ryu at first, but I think he'd conquer it pretty quick. Then we have Seth. Yeah, so about this character, he seems really cool at first, but actually the guy's been jobbing over and over again. He's lost to like 5 characters canonically already, and keep in mind, he's only been in 2 games. So if he goes up against Street Fighter 6 Ryu, yeah, it's a wrap. Then finally we have Q, who I think is very likely G, but something tragic happened because the man's clearly not all there. He falls down during certain attacks. He's very strong still, clearly, but he's fumbling a lot of his moves. I think he'd make Ryu sweat, but has no chance of actually beating him. Then finally we have the zero chance tier. There's gonna be a ton of characters down here, but for now we're just doing 5, okay? Fang is going down here. The man's a certified jobber. Birdie's going down here as well. The man beat Chun-Li canonically. That's embarrassing to remember, but I don't think he has a chance against Ryu. Then we have the dolls, right? They're both going down here. Jubei and Julie or something. I forget their names. I know one's name because she's in the upcoming movie, but the other doll, I forget her name. And then Nikali, because this man never beat anybody. It's a shame since the trailers hyped him up big time, and logically, I think Nikali should be a threat, but he keeps losing. The man's a glorified jobber. He's got no chance against Street Fighter 6 Ryu. And alright everybody, each tier has 5 characters in it. Now it's time to fill the whole thing out. Goken, I think, would beat Ryu or force him to a draw. This man's just Ryu on steroids. Yes, he's older, but in anime logic, that doesn't matter. You just get stronger as you age. Then we have Charlie from the Alpha series. Before getting nerfed in Street Fighter 5, Charlie canonically beat M. Bison and made it look easy, honestly. Bison had to use his own soldiers against him to give back shots. Pause. But it did happen though. Then we have Violent Ken, who's just crazy with psycho energy. Ken's already close to Ryu's level, so give him crazy psycho energy and I think he could win. Then we have Gin, who at one point beat Akuma or at least forced the fight to a standstill, so theoretically he could beat Ryu or at least force a draw. Then we have Terry Bogard, my boy. I'm sorry, this guy's built different. He's extremely overpowered. I think he could beat Ryu or at least force a standstill. Then last but not least, we have Kage. This man beat Akuma. People forget about that. He did force force Akuma to just go, whatever, you win, I don't care. Likely because Akuma wants to fight real opponents and not just manifestations of the Dark Hado, which is what Kage is. But alright, could win tier. I think Zeku is very powerful. Maybe not as strong as Guy and Cody, but he's up there somewhere. He would give Ryu a very good challenge and possibly could win. Then we have Rose. This woman is extremely powerful on paper, but the writers keep holding her back for some reason and just don't let her fight strong opponents to showcase how OP she actually is. Along with the Dalsim, I keep glazing this guy because he's so interesting. He doesn't use fire, believe it or not. It's mental manipulation. He makes you think you're on fire, but it's just extreme hypnotism. Also, he can mind control you, stretch his limbs really far. He's also really durable. So Dalsim is a real challenge and to this day has not canonically lost to anybody. Oh boy, Street Fighter 6 Alex. So in that trailer, this man seems about it. He's very scary now. He always has been, but back in Third Strike, he got humiliated by Ryu. It was really embarrassing, but look how much bigger the man's gotten in Street Fighter 6. He's been training every day since, so now maybe he could beat Ryu with that main character energy. Next up is JP and Sagat. Sagat's pretty easy to explain. This guy already almost beat Ryu in Street Fighter 1 and ever since has been training harder and harder to improve upon his already amazing abilities, so maybe he could beat Ryu in a fair fight. Then JP, let's put him like up here maybe instead. He was gonna be the main villain of Street Fighter 6 before the writers gave up and just brought back Bison, but JP should be very powerful on paper. Okay, next up is the good challenge tier. So Vega, one of the 4 heavenly kings, right? Balrog's gonna go here too. Not Fang because he's a massive jobber, okay? He's not worthy of being up here. Zangief and Abel absolutely are. People try to downplay Zangief for some reason, and I'm like, have you seen the recent games? This man is unstoppable. Dudley, Guile, and Fei Long are definitely going up here as well, and don't worry, I'll arrange them left to right later on. For now, I'm just placing them all up here. Luke and Jamie are around the same power level, along with Marissa and Manon. People try to downplay these 2 characters for some reason. Don't do that. Did you see Marissa casually manhandling a gigantic lion? And it's implied that Manon maybe beat her in a fight, and Manon herself has tons of championship victories in martial arts tournaments, so she's very legit too. I understand they're new characters, but that's no reason to downplay their accomplishments. These 2 characters already canonically are strong. Along with Elena and Mai from Street Fighter 6 as a guest character, Chun-Li and Cammy would go here too. I think all the World Warriors for the most part would be a good challenge. So you know E Honda, Blanca, they're going here. Oh, the proteges, so Yun and Yang are going here too, why not? Along with the woman from Final Fight, whose name I forget, she's probably like around here somewhere. Then Adon and Rolento I think would also be a challenge. Real quick with a snap of my fingers, now they're arranged from left to right. There you go. Alright, Ryu will sweat tier. I think Sean goes here, and it's a shame he's not in Street Fighter 6. Don't forget, this man was trained by Ken Masters, so he's legit. His only weakness is being too young, which means he's inexperienced. Over time, I think he would be up there with Ken and Ryu if he keeps training. Along with Laura, don't forget, she teamed up with Alex to defeat Zangief plus Armika, so she must be legit. We don't see her do too much in Street Fighter 5, unfortunately, but yeah, she has that one big win. Then we have Kadin, who's actually very strong in universe for Street Fighter. I find that hilarious, along with Sakura and Rainbow Mika. Fans love to downplay Mika for some reason. I don't get why. She tanked a hit from Balrog to the face like it was nothing. This man kills elephants with a single punch, and Mika said that's nothing. Ibuki's likely somewhere around here too, along with Makoto, and I'll arrange them later on, don't worry. Would Rashid make Ryu sweat? I think maybe so, maybe so. And alright, here we go. Now they're arranged left to right. Real quick, I think some fans might be upset with Makoto's placement. In the comics and manga, she's on par with Ibuki, and we don't see many feats outside of that, like in the games for example, so it's hard to know how strong she is, but other characters like Sakura and Kadin have better canonical feats in the games. Then finally we have Zero Chance. These characters either just don't have enough fights for me to say anything, or they're straight up jobbers with little or no wins under their belt. I think we all knew from the beginning this tier was going to be filled with people. I'm sorry if one of your favorite characters is down here. I'm not saying they're uncool. Some of these characters are really interesting. It's just they have no chance of beating Ryu. And alright everyone, there you have it, ranking every Street Fighter character against Ryu in Street Fighter 6. Keep that in mind. It's that version specifically, when Ryu is the strongest we've ever seen him. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, then subscribe so you never miss any future videos. And oh no, Chun-Li's falling down a pit. Quick, click this video on screen right now to save her. Oh no, she's still falling. Click that video, click it right now. Ah!